Senator Humphreys.
Leader, and I'm not going down the road of strange, funny money, but that the two other parties were talking about. But, Leader, I think there's something practical that we can do in the House. The power-sharing executive collapsed in relation to cash for ash, and there hasn't been a democratic voice in the Assembly since then. And considering what's happened now in London, there is now an urgency to get the Assembly back up and running. And I think it would be helpful if we could have a discussion or a debate with the Minister in this House in relation to see what practical terms that can be done to get the power-sharing executive back up and running at this very, very dangerous period in Irish history. Let us remember clearly the reason why it was collapsed. Can we put in a protocol in relation to the cash for ash and set aside preconditions and get the Assembly back up and running and focused on representing the people of Northern Ireland and this Republic and the dangers they face with a hardcore, with a breakdown of negotiations in relation to Brexit. And I think that's where we're going. Leader, and just one other point I would ask you, maybe you could facilitate me. You've heard me on many occasions raising the issue in relation to legacy issues of apartment owners. And I gave you the figure of approximately 70,000 apartment owners that are facing legacy issues in relation to bills from 10,000 to 52,000 euros to put right their apartments. And I've heard very clearly Minister Murphy's statement is that the state will not take on the responsibility in relation to this. But unfortunately, the state has stepped into other areas in relation to the dodgy cement blocks that were in Donegal and Mayo and Pyrite. We can't leave so many apartment owners swinging in the wind with huge financial debt and threats from fire officers that they will have to vacate their homes. I've asked Minister English to facilitate meetings in the last term, which he said he would, and unfortunately that did not occur over the summer period. So could I ask you, with your good offices, that you would contact the Minister on behalf of this House, because many people in the House, including me, has raised this issue, and I think, Leader, you've raised it yourself. We need to sit down and work out a practical solution for people that bought apartments with legacy issues, with fire issues, with water egress issues, and just basically poorly built apartment due to lack of regulation. We have an onus. The legislation was changed in this House and in the Dáil in relation to self-certification. So there is a responsibility to work out a solution for these 70,000 families that are across the state. As I said, it's been worked out in relation to dodgy cement blocks in Donegal and Mayo. It's been worked out in some circumstances in relation to Pyrite, and assistance has to be given to people that own apartments that are in danger of losing their homes.